The number one priority, the number one goal for liberalism is peace. This goal of peace is why liberalism can so egregiously violate rights of others. This is why the liberal media can blatantly disregard facts and present stories in conflict with the actual events. This is why liberals can behave in such vile, dishonest ways and still portray themselves as the morally superior group, because liberalism's number one goal is peace. And that goal itself is so noble that anything that needs to be done to achieve it is noble as well, because to the liberal, the ends always justify the means. Since liberals have peace as the number one priority, that means other priorities like those that conservatives prioritize above peace, such as freedom, liberty, and justice, all take a backseat to the top liberal goal of peace. What this means, in the minds of liberals, is that it's okay to take away our constitutional rights if it leads to peace. To liberals, it's okay to restrict free speech and create safe spaces. It's okay to take away religious freedoms because doing so prohibits potential conflict or disruptions of peace. It's okay to redistribute wealth because if everyone has the same, then nobody can complain and there will be no conflict. According to the theory, a world free from conflict is a world of peace. Since peace is more important than freedom or liberty, if freedoms need to be sacrificed in order to achieve this peace, then so be it. Oftentimes, free will actually stands in the way of peace, so when the left deems it necessary, taking away your freedoms is justified and noble. To liberals, peace is more important than fairness or justice, but there is only one way to achieve this ultimate euphoria of total peace. You must take free will out of the hands of the individuals. To conservatives, fairness is reaping what you sow, but to liberals, fairness is equality. It is sameness, everyone getting an equal share for all. If everyone is the same and everyone has their individual safe spaces and everyone has equal income, then nobody can be angry and the world will be peaceful. Again, a world free from conflict is a world of peace. Due to this goal of peace, liberals can carry themselves as the most noble creatures regardless of what they have to do to others in order to achieve it. This is why many of these social justice warriors are some of the most filthy, tyrannical, immoral human beings alive, but can still consider themselves as the highest moral character. The priest is a racist, homophobic bigot. The people who yell obscenities and parade themselves half-naked through the streets in front of children, using inappropriate language in front of children, are the noble ones, because their motive is for peace and equality. Since this goal of peace is so admirable in the left's eyes, anyone standing in the way of them is standing in the way of peace, and is therefore evil.
A liberal student there, Sandra Cohn, has penned a piece which is raising the eyebrows of a number of individuals this morning. She had written a piece around the idea that we should get rid of academic freedom in favor of academic justice. She is sick and tired there at Harvard of dealing with research that comes out, which may counteract her own viewpoints of life. She can't stand when academic research comes out that doesn't support her liberal ideology.
Yeah, she's a senior there, and the title of this piece is "The Doctrine of Academic Freedom. Let's give up on academic freedom in favor of justice." Why should we put up with research that counters our goals simply in the name of academic freedom? Instead, I would like to propose a more rigorous standard, one of academic justice. When an academic community observes research promoting or justifying oppression, it should ensure that this research does not continue.
In other words, the truth, when it's inconvenient, should be squelched. There's a name for this. It's called fascism. And what's amazing is this girl is a senior. As you just said, this is the fruit of a Harvard education. After 4 years at Harvard, you conclude, or she has, that the truth, when inconvenient, ought to be suppressed.
Liberals can openly condemn their actions, including their bias in the media and suppression of conservatives, but that doesn't matter. They simply turn around and justify their actions, making themselves a martyr to stop the evil of conservatism. They openly acknowledge what they're doing is wrong, but because they're doing it for liberalism, that supersedes their actions and makes it not only okay, but noble.
Yes, the media is largely biased against Republicans. Deal with it. That's true. No, it's true. Come on. I mean, 7% of reporters define themselves as Republican. I think if you look across the media, I think you have to say, okay, there is a bias. The media tends to, they go to journalism school, look at academia. The majority tend to tilt left. My response to that is I don't care.
The liberal bias and censorship has become so pervasive, they have no choice but to acknowledge it. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they redefine the term or just refuse to call it bias. They would never encourage violence, but against conservatives, it's okay. They are against censorship and restrictions of free speech, but against conservatives, it's okay.
It's now making national news that former Facebook employees have admitted that the company routinely suppresses conservative news and actually injects fake trending topics into their trending box that are favorable of liberal stories and specifically of Black Lives Matter.
These differences are easy to see. Conservatives want the freedom to do business with or to decline to do business with whomever they choose. But to liberals, this freedom is rightly sacrificed in order to avoid any sort of discrimination. In the eyes of liberals, it's okay to lie, cheat, steal, and commit violence against others in order to advance their agenda. Whether it's attacking Trump supporters, or calling to kill Trump supporters, or calling to kill police, it doesn't matter. The ends always justify the means to the liberal. While acts of violence may seem contradictory to priority number one, which is peace, in the minds of liberals, it is not contradictory as long as it's necessary to achieve goal number two, which is control. They need control in order to achieve peace. So if you have to be violent in order to take control over others, then that's okay with liberals. It is not, under any circumstance, okay to commit violence unless you are pushing the agenda of liberalism. Since liberals regard themselves as an elite group within society that knows what is good for other people better than those people know themselves, they believe they have a duty to persuade voters to pass laws that liberal elites believe are good for them, even if they have to fool voters in order to get them.
Scandal over what looks like an intentional effort to mislead voters explodes, with new video of a key White House advisor underscoring just how stupid he thinks Americans are.
This bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay, so it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay, just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not.
That is why it's okay to chant about murdering police officers or punch people for making a joke or lie about legislation to Americans in order to advance the agenda. It is okay to abuse power and bypass the constitutional powers granted to politicians. It is okay to make doomsday predictions to scare people into giving you what you want, or to be intolerant of others if they are against the liberal agenda, or fire people who don't share the liberal political ideology, or call for conservatives to be put in jail because liberals' number one goal is peace. That makes them the most noble human beings, and any disgusting, wrong, or immoral acts that have to be taken in order to achieve goal number two, which is control, which is a necessary prerequisite to goal number one, being peace, is perfectly acceptable and even morally good. As long as it's advancing their noble goal, then all the acts needed to achieve their goal are noble too, no matter how wrong or unjust they may be. Anyone who pushes back against liberalism is pushing back against peace and is therefore evil.
It doesn't matter what the frickin' legal and ethics people say. We need to win this motherfucker.
Hillary is aware of all the work that you guys do, I hope.
The campaign is fully in it.
And then they tell Hillary what's going on.
Well, Hillary knows through chain of command.
Yeah.
Liberalism chants the mantra of freedom a lot, but what they call freedom is not what is normally defined as individual freedom, but merely a mirage, interpreting freedom as the right to coerce others into relinquishing their individual freedoms in order to allow the liberal agenda to be carried out. What they call freedom is the advancement of some racial, religious, or some other interest group that the liberal feels needs the freedom more than the one who is forced to give it away. A clear example of this is forcing Christian business owners to participate in gay weddings. They say gays should have the right or the freedom to wed, and your freedom of religious liberty should give way. Never mind that the Constitution says nothing about homosexuality or anything about marriage, but it says a lot about the freedom of religion. Another example would be taking money from union workers. Taking money from union workers against their will is a clear violation of individual freedom, but the liberal justifies this by saying the increased power of the union as a group will raise living standards and give them more freedom in the end. The liberal may attempt to justify the importance of stealing your freedom, like in the case of unions, but this is an argument that shifts from the real world to ideology and pure fantasy, at which point no argument you can make can prove them wrong, because they're investing their argument in a non-existent future. But this is a contradictory freedom trap that liberals try frequently. The concept that they are only borrowing your freedom, taking your freedom and giving it to a more powerful entity, and they promise you'll get more back at some later date, is the tactic that has been used by many tyrannical regimes. Hitler used the same tactic to gain gain power, promising to give it back, to which he never did. Here also is the other side of liberalism's freedom-stamped coin, again turns out to be coercion. But in many cases, the liberal elevates the priority of justice over freedom, and if a certain amount of individual freedom needs to be taken to advance social justice, then that is justified. To the liberal, the goal of ending discrimination justifies the sacrifice of others' freedoms. While that may be true or not be true, but largely depends on priorities. Because man is innately good, according to liberalism, and the bad institutions are causing man's problems, the only way to achieve this utopian peace is to take control out of the hands of individuals and place it in the hands of the state. But in a truly free society, there will be different choices, resulting in drastically different outcomes and results. Some will make good choices, others will make poor choices, because that's what freedom allows, and as a result, there will be positive and negative outcomes based on free will and choices made. But to the liberal, these undesirable outcomes are not inevitable side effects of a free society, but proof of some injustice, evidence of victims that were exploited by others due to inadequate education and bad institutions. They must be according to the liberal doctrine, because if man is intrinsically good, then they will all make good choices and get good results. So if we have a free society that can lead to some negative results, it must not be that man is just that way. It must be that there are some exploiting others and an array of bad social institutions or discrimination preventing people from more desirable outcomes. It has to be according to the leftist ideology. This is the backbone behind the movements that anoint everything that has unequal results as discriminatory. So they use statistics like the gender wage gap to promote this injustice and discrimination that needs some government interference and more government power to make this better. Since women only earn 77 cents on the dollar compared to full-time working men, it must be the result of discrimination. It doesn't matter that the high-paying college majors are dominated by men and low-paying majors are dominated by women. It doesn't matter that men work more dangerous jobs, work more hours, work more isolated in undesirable locations that pay well. To the liberal, it only has to do with discrimination. Although in reality, what it really is merely women's own personal preferences in choosing their own future profession. But that must be ignored, because as we've seen so many times, when reality comes in conflict with liberal doctrine, reality must change.
If you ever noticed, liberals, so-called, progressives, leftists, are always interrupting conservatives, and they're always shouting over them. And if you put up posters in their schools that they don't like, they tear them down. Why is that? Because the only thing that's preventing us from getting to the kingdom of heaven is these bad ideas that conservatives had.